You didn't fall for them because you were weak. You fell because you were human, and that's exactly what they were looking for. Someone kind, someone patient, someone who sees the good even when it's not there. At the beginning, it felt perfect, almost too perfect. They listened, they understood, they mirrored you. It felt like you had finally found someone who truly saw you, and slowly you opened up. You trusted, you gave more. You became emotionally invested. But what you didn't realize was that this was not love. It was a setup. A very subtle one. Because narcissistic abuse doesn't start with pain. It starts with connection. And that's why it's so hard to let go. Because you're not just leaving a person. You're letting go of the version of them you believed was real. And that version felt like home. But then things started to change. Small things at first. A comment, a criticism, a moment that didn't feel right, but you ignored it because of how good the beginning felt. So you adjusted. You became more careful, more aware, more anxious, trying to get back to how things were. But no matter what you did, it was never enough, because the rules kept changing. One day you were appreciated, the next day you were the problem, and slowly you started to question yourself, your memory, your feelings, your reality. This is called gaslighting, and it's designed to make you doubt yourself, so you rely on them. And when that happens, they gain control, not through force, but through confusion. And the most painful part is you still care. Even after everything. Even after the lies, the manipulation, the emotional exhaustion. You still think about them. You still miss them. And that confuses you. Because part of you knows you were hurt. But another part of you remembers the good and keeps holding on. But listen carefully. You are not missing them. You are missing how they made you feel in the beginning. You are missing the illusion. The version of them that was carefully created to pull you in. That version was never sustainable, because it was never real. And that's why it disappeared. Not because you did something wrong, but because it was never meant to stay. And this is where healing begins. Not by forgetting them, but by seeing clearly, by understanding what actually happened. You were not weak. You were conditioned. Conditioned to give. Conditioned to tolerate. Conditioned to stay even when it hurt. And breaking that pattern is not easy, because it requires you to choose yourself over and over again. Even when it feels uncomfortable. Even when it feels unfamiliar, because peace will feel unfamiliar. At first, silence will feel strange, but that's not emptiness, that's safety. That's what your nervous system has been needing for a long time. And slowly, you will start to feel like yourself again. Not the version that was anxious and overthinking, but the version that is calm, grounded clear. And one day, you will think about them and feel nothing. No anger, no longing, just understanding. And that's when you know you've healed. Not because they changed, but because you finally did.